Hello, everyone. Brady and Charlie here. We're running the duo stream. I think Garrett's been working hard lately, and so I think he's quite possibly still asleep.
Yeah, man was up a good amount of time there.
Yeah. So we just had a live episode, not a live episode. We just had an episode air of Big Brother, newest Big Brother 21 episode, nomination special for it's technically week 1 still, right? So.
Yeah.
Just a quick reminder to everybody that's currently in the live chat. Obviously, if you're commenting after, you can talk about anything down in the comments. Everything goes. But if you're in the live chat, we're going to start with a recap of the episode. So even though we know, as Feeds watchers, we already know who played in veto, who won veto, who, if the veto was used or not, and if it was used, if anyone went up as replacements. We already know all of that already. But we are going to start with a recap of the episode, and then we'll move into live feeds talks after. And I will give you guys a spoiler alert before that. So if you're someone where you just want to follow along with the TV show, absolutely awesome. A lot of times, a lot of people think that it's better to watch the show like that rather than just the feeds because, it's a lot better as far as storylines. So, Charlie, who do we got in chat to start?
All right. Yeah, we got a few people hanging out. We got Ben. We got Melissa. We got Brianna. They're all hanging out. Welcome, guys. How's it going?
Nice. There we go.
Fun little competition tonight. That was a fun one.
Ben says it's season 15 all over again. I don't know. Minus the race. Yeah. Oh, and then Flames hopping
Welcome, Flames.
So anyway, let's get started with a recap. So where we left off last time was the do you call it eviction of David?
Yeah, the banishment.
The banishment of David, which we're pretty certain that David, is coming back, or at least will have an opportunity to come back based on how Julie kind of left us at the end of that episode. So hopefully it might be a first 4 evicted.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident we'll see him Wednesday. Whether he's in the house or he competes for HOH or whatever. If he's the sole vote to evict, Yeah,
that's what some people are saying is that he's going to come back into the game and be the sole vote to evict. That would be literally insane. That would be interesting. I mean, I liked David preseason, so I'm hoping, I see people go right away. That's lame. Okay, so let's talk about our HOH, right? So we have Christy as HOH. And in this episode, we saw, Christy was not going to be one to kind of take charge and make all of her own decisions. She wanted to get a lot of people in on it. And it seems like the people that she's really gravitating towards are Jack, Jackson. She seems pretty close with Holly. She's getting closer with Annalise. So they were throwing out names pretty early on into the episode as to who could be good nominees. And they're doing the standard Big Brother thing within the first couple weeks of, well, who are the safe people to put up? So instantly you heard names like Cliff get thrown out there. They're like, all right, well, Cliff's an easy one. We can put him up, And then they just started asking around with different people, who should they put up? And the first major thing that we saw was that Kemi was throwing out a lot of names and she was just throwing out names, anyone other than herself. And that really got on the radar of Jack in particular, who instantly we see a little bit of rivalry going on with Kemi and Jack, even though I don't know if Kemi knows that it's there, but Jack definitely has Kemi on his radar.
Yeah, so it seemed like the word that I remember was she called him a marble, and Bella kind of ran that up, and she's saying how they had to get him out, and so Bella, he really trusts Bella and believes what she says. So when he got that on his radar, that's all he's thinking. He's like, all right, Kemi's got to go. So yeah, it's definitely a pretty ballsy move to be saying names like that in a room full of people that you maybe not trust that much,
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's tough in this first week because I don't know why people don't realize this. If you've watched the show at all, you know that alliances are made day 1, day 2, day 3. You know that it's very common. I can't remember the last season where we didn't have some sort of final 2, final 3, alliance of 8 as we're seeing now within the first couple days. So if you're someone like Kemi, who she knows that she's not part of a solidified alliance, there is an alliance somewhere. And I feel like you have to just be aware of that And if you're not in an alliance the first couple days, you have to be aware that you can't just throw names around because you never know whose name you're going to throw out that happens to be in alliance with the people that you're talking to. And that's what ended up happening.
Pretty crazy the way that that can unfortunately work out for you.
That was Kat, not Kemi. Yeah, sorry, Kat as well, and we saw what happened there. So Kat is also just same thing, throwing out names.
She was saying how she can control Mickey.
Right.
And that was what Bella told him.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So Kat was confiding in Bella with the whole Mickey Jackson, whatever you want to call him. At this point, they're calling him both. It's weird.
Yeah.
So she was talking about how she thinks she can control Mickey and stuff like that. Didn't know that Bella was in an alliance with Mickey, and she went straight over to there, and so that was kind of the easy two defaults that we saw for nominations was, well, Cliff's the old guy, and Kat is throwing out, these mastermind things, and people want to get out the big game players early, especially someone like Bella, where we can tell she wants to really bide her time and turn on strong gameplay later on. She wants to get a schemer out like Kat because they bring a lot of the same things to the table. If Bella can get out people that are more like her gameplay wise, then she'll be better off in the long run,
Definitely. From their standpoint.
Kat was the first one down, yeah. Which this is an episode recap. We won't really talk about any of the extra stuff, so make sure not to talk about extra stuff too much. So let's talk about let's talk about this Grateful Eight. So there's 8 people that have become really, really close in the house within the first couple days.
Yeah.
And Jack was like, well, we should solidify this. Let's give it a name. And he threw out Hateful Eight, and which is funny. So he put Hateful Eight, and Christy's like, I don't really want to say that I'm part of a hateful alliance. She's like, what about Grateful Eight? And so they haven't really decided between Grateful Eight and Grateful with an 8 as the so they haven't really decided yet. And CBS didn't seem to lean one way or the other, but I'm sure we'll get a hashtag next episode and it'll all be cleared up. But the 8 people in the alliance. So we've got Christy, Jack, Jackson, Holly, Nick, Bella. Who are the other 2?
Annalise and Tommy, I believe. The last
Annalise and Tommy. Yep.
Yeah.
And then as we know, Christy and Tommy already kind of know each other, so they have. I don't think they've solidified a final 2 or anything like that, but there's the small groups within that. Obviously, Jack and Jackson are really, really close. Nick and Annalise seem to get along well, on the show. And then like Tommy and Christy. So you have all these little sub groups within this Grateful Alliance. What are your first impressions of the alliance, and do you agree with having a big alliance early on?
I mean, if you're in it, it's good for you. If you're one of the if you're one of the later additions, if they didn't really make it too obvious if that 2 Tommy or 2 Annalise that they were the later additions, so I think that was good on their part. The 6. They seem pretty solid. They seem like they were clicking really well. And I mean, hey, let's just want to see if it really works out for them or if it cracks already, because as we've seen before, a lot of times with 8 people, it can crack pretty early.
I mean, it's just so hard because you're literally taking over half. I understand the logic. Hey, look, we have 8. We can just vote out the other 7 people that are left, and then the 8 of us will duke it out. But it never goes that perfectly, and people are going to start getting on each other's nerves within the alliance very, very quickly. So, for right now, with so many people in the house, 8-person alliance is fine. But I would feel much more comfortable if I was in the house sticking with like a really solid group of 4, maybe 5. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Which
I like how it says Cliff is too good for an alliance. Says Flames. Absolutely.
Cliff is definitely like a big sweetheart. Definitely a big Twitter sweetheart right now. And so we'll skip forward a little bit because we don't really need to talk about the competition just yet. But we see that OV has been kind of creepy. right after the HOH was won, he really started creeping a lot of people out. The girls really aren't feeling it. And I don't know. I think Ovi is just so comfortable in his own skin that people think that he's trying way too hard. But I think Ovi is just a very happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of people think that he's trying way too hard, and it's making him come across as creepy. Is that the vibe you get too?
In a way, yeah, because they were, even CBS is playing like the awkward music, when he's in there with Christy. I don't know. It's just like, I guess that is what they're playing off of the vibe. But I agree with you. He's a chill dude, and he doesn't really think. I don't think he thinks about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So now something else that's interesting. So Ovi, this was, in the middle of the night. Ovi was laying in bed, and Nick, Jack, and someone else, right? We're all chilling together, and they ended up talking about this Grateful Alliance while they were like laying in bed. And Ovi didn't really overhear the whole thing. He just heard the number 8, and he knew that they were talking about some sort of alliance. And so Ovi instantly was like, oh, Nick is trying to start an alliance of 8. I need to get ahead of him and be the first alliance.
Yeah.
And Ovi made a giant mistake of trying to form an alliance with 4 other people, and all 4 of them were people that are in the 8-person alliance. And he came up to them and said, hey, I overheard that Nick's trying to get an 8-person. So basically Ovi came up and was like, hey, I'm on to Nick, us 5 are going to be solid. And so who was it? Jack, Jackson, Christy, maybe?
Annalise.
And Annalise.
I don't think it was Jack. I think it was Holly.
Holly. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just not a good move for Ovi. Obviously, he's gonna look back. He's gonna be like, "Well, hindsight 2020. Yeah. I just completely I just basically went up to the alliance and told them, hey, I'm on to you."
Yeah, and CBS really they played it out pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that really
because they showed his diary rooms and he's all excited. They're like, Yeah. He's gonna look back at that one and be like, "Damn."
Yeah. So let's get to the competition that we had, or drawing 4 competitions that we saw. So each week we're going to have a whacktivity competition for the first 3 weeks. And each person, they did a bit of a draft style where they picked a random order of house guests and they could sign up for different competitions. So you had the nightmare, competition, the chaos competition, and the panic competition. And they could decide who was going to face off against each other. And they didn't really show the exact order that everyone went in. I know that Annalise went first, but that was kind of it. So this is the way that it works. So week 1, so this week on this episode, we had the nightmare competition between Kat, Bella, Nicole, Cliff, and Ovi. So each of the 15 house guests are going to get a chance to play in one of these. And then next week will be the chaos competition with Holly, Tommy, Jackson, Sam, and Jack. And then week 3, the panic competition will be Annalise, Nick, Kemi, Jessica, and Christy. Now, something that I thought was very interesting is that next week, week 2, Charlie, the competitors, Holly, Tommy, Jackson, and Jack, all in the alliance together. And then Sam is the one oddball that is not. So unless Sam somehow wins that competition, we have this alliance guaranteed to win a power next week.
Yeah.
And so that'll be very interesting. So this week we had, once again, Kat, Bella, Nicole, Cliff, and Ovi. And basically it was a smelling competition. There were 3 different buckets that had gross smells in it, and the house guests had to match smells in the backyard to the smells in the buckets. There were 3 that they had to match. And I'd say it looked like there was probably like 20, 25 different smells in the backyard.
There was a lot, yeah.
So there was a lot.
A couple different types of urine.
And basically, no one else was close in this competition except for Ovi. Ovi kind of crushed it. It took 3 different rounds, and Ovi was the first one, and he was one of only a couple people to even get 2 of the 3 right before that. So
yeah,
Ovi won a mystery power, and he's trying to keep it a secret. And as to my knowledge, even with live feeds, I don't think anyone knows about this power.
No one had any idea who had won it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, which is awesome. And so Ovi won the power, which says that after a nomination ceremony, um, he doesn't have to play it right away, but at the night after nominations have been done, an alarm or some sort of sound is going to be played. Everyone's going to have to wake up in the middle of the night. The two evictees or the two nominees are going to come off and become safe, and the head of household is going to have to pick two completely different nominees to put on the block on the spot. Like no preparation, just hey, two new nominees. This power is huge, Charlie.
Oh, it's powerful. Yeah, it's cool too. I mean, I like when they do the secret powers, and you know, you got to win the competition to get it. It's just a neat little addition to the game, and it's got a time limit. You can't wait till final five and whatnot to boast it up there.
Yeah, it lasts for the first 5 weeks, I think, right? So this one and another 4. Well, obviously not this one. He couldn't do it with this one because the nominations had already happened. So he has 4 chances to use it: weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then it's it. So let's see if that comes into play next week or whatever. Ovi said he was very clear with it. He said, the second I'm put up on the block, I'm using it. He said, I'm just using it as personal safety for the week. He basically is guaranteeing himself safety for the week, unless for some reason people found out about the power and then he got put up and got like backdoored. That's the only way that he could theoretically be evicted and still hold on to the power. So Ovi's in a good spot. America seems to like Ovi pretty much. CBS, played him off as a little creepy, but are you glad that Ovi won this, or out of the other 4, Kat, Bella, Nicole, and Cliff, would you have rather seen one of them win it?
Oh yeah, I'm happy Ovi won, but if Cliff Hogg Bebe would have won it, that would have been all right with that too.
Cliff Hogg, man.
Cliff Hogg, that's the man right there.
Ovi won Kenobi, as AB says.
That I'm using that.
Damn it. All right, and then we really just got into the nominations. I don't think I'm really missing anything else. So Christy ended up nominating the 2 that we were talking about. Kind of stuck to what they were saying before. Nominated Cliff and Kat. So we know that 3 of the 6 people playing in veto are going to be Cliff, Kat, and Christy. If it were to be a physical comp, which one of those 3 are you picking?
Cliff, Kat, and Christy?
Yeah.
I'm probably taking Kat.
Taking Kat? Okay.
Yeah.
And Cliff's your boy, right? You're hoping Cliff wins that comp?
Oh, yeah. Cliff Hogg, bye-bye.
Cliff Hogg.
Hey. That man's got the juice.
The juice. That lizard is juiced. Go see
I want Cliff Hogg to become the Night King and, just...
why can't Ovi use it as the replacement nominee? He just can't, because it's only after the initial nomination ceremony. That's the way it's seen. It said after the nomination ceremony. The veto ceremony is not listed as a nomination ceremony, even though a nomination could be made. So it can't be used after veto, but nothing wrong with that. You can hold on to it. Ovi needs to lay low and win comps. I agree, Carlito. I don't like that stupid 8. We'll have 80% chance to get privilege next week and 60% in the 3rd week. Yeah. So
unfortunately, the way they deck the cards. But yeah, I mean, who knows if this thing will leave me around week 3? I mean, 8-person, it's big. But it has worked before. I mean, look, level 6 last year. They lost Winston week 3, but they held pretty true after that for a while,
Winston was my boy, man.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, it was a solid episode. It's just Sunday episodes are always so weird for us feeds watchers because the information seems so behind. Like, to be honest, we have a pretty good idea of well, actually this week's different, but usually around this time we have a pretty good idea of who's going home. But this week's a little different, which we'll talk about in the spoilers, which is good. So that's not really a spoiler. It's just this week's going to be exciting for the last couple days.
And we got episodes Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep. So Tuesday is the next episode. Are they all 8 o'clock episodes?
I think so. I don't know.
So. Last year it was weird. They did 9 o'clock episodes on Sundays, I think. So anyway, any questions for us just talking about the show really quick, go ahead and put it in chat. And then after that, I'm gonna give you guys a little spoiler update, and then I'll kick all you out of chat. But any questions about the show that you guys have for me, for Charlie, or just any comments. We'll read them through. Melissa said it would be great if he stayed off the block till week 6, won HOH, and then used his power on his own noms to frame someone strong.
Oh, that'd be genius.
If he used it like in the 5th week, in the very last week, that'd be awesome. Love Island is on at 9. Oh, can't wait.
Can't wait. Greatest show ever.
6 is easier. Try a 10-person alliance. Jesus.
Jeez.
Hey, man, let's just have a 14-person alliance and vote out the other 2 real quick. And I literally, if I go in the house next year, Charlie, you got to remind me of this. Remind me to make a 16-person alliance an hour in. Biggest alliance in Big Brother history.
Your first DR. I'm making a 16-person alliance.
Dream 16. That's what I'm calling it. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a 15-person alliance, and I'm not in it.
Got to target that home, man.
I'm going to make a 16-person alliance and then leave.
Yes.
Least favorite and favorite house guest besides Cliff Hogg. Charlie?
It's hard. I don't even know right now. I find myself rooting for Ovi right now. Kemi, Nicole, I like them. I'm liking what they're doing. I'm liking how Kat's going. She seemed pretty pumped up there when Christy put her on the block. So it seems like that'd be it'll be fun to follow with that because she was pissed, man. And she was throwing her on, But least favorite, I don't know, man. It's
Justin. Yeah, I'm gonna tell my own alliance of 16 to vote me out week 1. I'm gonna dare them, dude.
You won't.
How loyal they are. If they're really that loyal, vote me out night 1.
I believe the schedule is 3 days a week.
Yeah, I would say truck driver guy seems cool. Sam, yeah, he's cool. Melissa said least favorite Jack, favorite Sam. Yeah, Sam's a really popular favorite. I think Justin says I like the junk in the trunk. So I'd say my least favorite right now is probably Jackson or Mickey, whatever you want to call him. And I'd say my favorite, I'd say I'd probably go with Tommy. I like the game that he's playing. I like Tommy and Christy because even though that alliance of 8, I don't really like the alliance of 8 as a whole. I really like how Tommy and Christy are just positioning themselves to do well. And I think Tommy's just a genuinely good guy. I think Christy is too. When Jack was like, oh, he should be the hateful 8. And she was like, I don't really want to be hateful. I was like, I don't know. That was wholesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Cat, Dallas girl. Oh, yeah. So here is your official warning. We are about to go into spoilers. So if you are joining us in the chat and you just want to talk episodes as they go and you don't want any live feed spoilers and you want to wait till Tuesday to see what happens with Vito and stuff like that, bye. Sorry. But if you want to stick around, talk some live feeds, let's do it because we're going to talk about who won Veto, who may or may not have used it, all that stuff. So, yeah. All the Jacks below. They should be, Jesus, suicide Jack. All right. So, Charlie, the Veto competition happened. Yeah. And our winner is your last chance to leave. The winner of the Veto competition, hold on, I'm literally going insane. It was Christy, right?
No, it's truck driver Sam.
Sorry, that's right, Sam. Yeah, that's right. I'm going crazy because he kept like asking her. Okay, yeah. So Sam won Veto, and he knew that he wanted to use it on Cliff. Him and Cliff have been getting along really well, right? And so he basically told Christy, "I want to use it on Cliff, but I'm gonna tell other people that you have no idea that I'm using it." So really, it was kind of I'll scratch your back, you'll scratch mine. So Christy knew that he was going to use it no matter what. And then she decided to go to the alliance with who should be the replacement nom. And quickly, everyone just said, oh, easy choice, Kemi. And I really don't know why. There wasn't really a giant, other than Jack thinks that she's a bit of a schemer and that Kemi's out to get him. And Christy seems to be trusting Jack more than anyone else, and that's why we see the love for Christy kind of going down on feeds.
Definitely.
I mean, any input?
No, yeah, it seems like it was them all just kind of listening to what Jackson or what Mickey and Jack wanted them to do, and because they're kind of running the show there for a bit, and I don't know, you get the vibe that Nicole kind of really switched the meadow with that.
Yeah. So really quickly before we get to stuff that happened today, something I thought was very interesting, a conversation, and you and I haven't even talked about this today. The information came out. It was one of the classic. The conversation started. We heard some information, and then they cut the feeds because they didn't want to talk about details. But information was released that Jack hasn't had one single family member signed as a release form to be on the show. All of his family members don't want to be involved with the show or him. That's why it was just him and his dog in his package. You never saw any family members or friends or anything. And none of the family members want to be on the show. None of them really want to support him. And then someone asked him who would be in his HOH letter, and he said he was hoping that it was his ex-girlfriend. That's like that's his best guess as to is like who would write his HOH letter. Is that kind of sad, or is that indicative of like is Jack just a douche?
I mean, yeah, it is kind of sad, to be honest. If it doesn't have and none of his family likes him. I mean, it's it could be reflective of his personality too, that he pushed him away. So I mean, it's one of two things,
Like that's so telling.
Could be a couple different things.
Yeah, and there was a lot of discussion in the house about Jack and stuff like that. And Jack believes that because he was a recruit, he was a really late recruit, and he's made that known that like he just got recruited way at the end of the process, and he felt that it didn't really matter what his answers were. They were going to take him because they just loved his look. I mean, yes, I could understand that. You look like Jason Momoa, but like, I don't know. Don't you think it raised a couple flags for CBS if this guy literally has no family or friends that are willing to go on TV for him or write him a letter or do anything?
Maybe. I mean, who knows? It's a gimmick cast. Like we were saying, that the whole Jason Momoa thing was huge for them. I see Carlito's Way says, "What about Mara?" Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she's not helping him out.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. So anyway, some other things that were going on. So really, Christy just started feeling really bad. Like we can tell that Christy has a really good heart. She's just easily manipulated, especially by Jack and Jackson. So literally, Christy kept saying, "I don't want to put Kemi up. I like Kemi, but I feel like I have to put up Kemi." Like she kept saying, like, "Oh my God, I don't want to have to do this." Like, dude, you're HOH. You can put up whatever you want. So she started throwing out the idea of putting Jack up instead and sending Jack home, which would have been nuts, right? Because Jack has had such a vice grip on the game so far.
It wasn't really. That was Sam had brought it up, and she just kind of freaked out, like, "Oh, can't too early."
Yeah, I mean, but the fact that she was okay to talk about it is interesting. I mean, she keeps doing this like, "Oh, I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to do this." And then so it became an easy, okay, who do we put up in Cliff's place, since Sam is going to take Cliff down. Who's the easy person to put up? That way Kat still goes home because Kat was still her target. And they kind of came to the consensus that Ovi would be a good one to put up. Not knowing at the time that Ovi kind of was in danger of going home because, as we know in Big Brother, pawns go home. So Christy thinks, "Oh, I'll put up Ovi and then Kat will go home because people, like Ovi or whatever." But it was complete opposite. Everybody else in her lives was like, "No, we should vote Ovi out." So we did have the veto ceremony, and Ovi did end up getting put up. So now it's Kat and Ovi, and one of those two will be going home this week. But Nicole is pulling a lot of strings right now. So talk about all the stuff that happened today, because yesterday it was just kind of sad, or this morning it was just kind of Ovi moping around, sad that he might be going home, and then today it kind of switched this afternoon.
Yeah, so it seems like it seemed like Christy was going to put up Kemi no matter what. And then Nicole kind of tugged on the heartstrings a bit. So, I mean, we don't know. they've done this in the past where they won't show this part on TV. You know, they'll show someone else saying it to her because it was more than one person. But it seemed like the one that really got to her was Nicole being the one to switch her off of Kemi. And at that point, she didn't care if once it was off of Kemi. You know, because it seems like Nicole's pretty good with Kemi and Jessica. So once it was off Kemi, she didn't care. She was like, okay.
Yeah, Jessica and Kemi have been really trying to get a women's alliance going. Jessica is kind of at the forefront of that. She's the one that's mentioned it a bunch of times, and she really wants Kemi. She really wants Holly. It seems like they like Holly a lot, and I think Holly likes them too, even though she's in that 8 alliance. You know, I think Holly likes it. So is this something that we could see? And is Ovi just kind of collateral damage? The girl's trying to have an uprising.
He could be. However, Kat's paranoia has pissed off everyone in the house already, including Mickey, who is her closest person, and he's already kind of done with her in a way. Like he was talking to Ovi today. I mean, he's probably lying to him, but he was like, "Yeah, I mean, her paranoia is she's getting on everyone's nerves." So it's hard to tell, but I think as it stands right now on Sunday night, Ovi's the one walking. He'll be the one going. But you guys know it's Big Brother. I mean, there's 3 full days. Ovi had already kind of started to talk to Nicole to make a little outsiders group because I think he's realized we don't know if he has fully, but once he realizes he's on the outside, you can make this pitch. But who knows? They're gonna have to get Nick to do it too. And really, because there's been a little tension between Nick and Jack, but someone's gonna light that fuse.
Yeah, so Jack is a little paranoid too. I mean, he thinks that Kemi's coming after him, and then he thinks that Nick is coming after him. Jack thinks everyone's after him, which I think is going to be true sooner rather than later. I think it's just it's one of those deals where Jack and Jackson were very comfortable, and I think as soon as you get comfortable in this game, that's when you end up going home. And so I think he's realizing now, oh, what if there is a groundswell? I need to kind of do some damage control. So
definitely.
Crap, I can't. Let's talk about what happened before feeds even went live. So this was the big talk about yesterday. Jackson, Mickey, whatever you want to call him, revealed to I think it was Holly that him and Kat had sex the first night, just very first night before any feeds were up or anything. So if I had to guess, I don't think CBS is going to show any of that at all. Usually they don't. I don't think it's important. But what is important about it is that Jackson was like, oh yeah, I'm going to use that to my advantage because now she's attached to me and I have no attachment to her. So Jackson has basically said, I don't really find Kat that attractive. It was the conversation of like, well, how many people can say that they had sex in the Big Brother house? Now I can. You know, it was very, very. I don't even know what to say. He's just bragging about it a lot, and you know, him and Holly were kind of laughing about it. But so it seems like Kat still has some sort of feelings for Jackson, but Jackson has nothing towards her from what he's telling other people. And then we have Jack kind of talking a lot of crap behind Ovi's back. There's a very famous clip that's been going around on Twitter where Ovi is just kind of having a good time. He had just gotten done with a workout with Jack and Jackson. They were all working out together. And then Ovi was like going back outside and Jack was like, hey man, you feeling swole? He's like, you're looking swole. And Ovi was like, yeah, man, I feel good. Thanks. And then he walks outside. And as soon as he walks out, Jack's like, douche. So just Jack is not Twitter's favorite person.
Right? No, he's coming off as a total douche, man. And like he was pretty upset when it was Ovi on the block, and he was just so mad talking about how he's gonna get Kemi next week, and just how saying he'll just put her on the block anyways and crush her in the veto pretty much.
Yeah, that's what Jack said. He's like, I'm gonna win HOH, put her on the block, and tell her straight to her face, you go ahead and try to win the veto because I'm gonna crush you and then send you out the door, and with a lot more expletives, calling her a lot of names. So
yeah,
it's just
so Jack seems like the kind of guy where if you're on his radar once, he's going to lose it until he can't. Like, honestly, if he had heard about, like, Kemi threw out his name and stuff, if he had heard that it was a guy that did it, I'm sure Jack would just be you know, a complete ass. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's kind of crazy. He's very upset at that.
Really quick, Al Horford and Josh Richardson both signed with the Sixers.
There you go.
That's a big signing for him, man. Al Horford, he's the man. I'm sad to see him go, but we got Kemba, so cool about it.
There you go.
So predictions this week, Charlie. You think Nicole and Ovi are going to be able to do it, or you think Ovi's going home? It seems to me like Kat has rocked the boat enough. My money would be on Kat going home.
Yeah, my money is. I'd agree. I think with all this time left and how Nicole flipped it already from Kemi, Nicole's gonna tug at heartstrings, man. She's gonna get Kat out the door. I don't know, man. Something about how she did that and how she just. When people talk about evicting others, like who they got next, making their list, they never say Nicole ever. They forget she's in the house.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's why a lot of people like. I don't know. Nicole's doing a good job of staying low. Jessica, who was on, her name was getting thrown out at the beginning of the week, but now people seem to really like her. Sam's doing a really good job. Like I said, Tommy's doing a really good job. I think there are people that they're laying low in the right way. They're not. I don't see a lot of people in the house right now that are completely useless, not talking game, just completely clueless as to how the game works. You could have made that case for Ovi a couple days ago, but I think he's smartening up a little bit.
Yeah, he just needs to. He really needs to realize his position in the house, and I think he might be able to pull something off.
Yeah. So I hope one of the outsiders wins next HOH. I agree. And I think
absolutely
if there was someone who had the balls to put up Jack and Jackson, who do you think it would be? Someone take the shot next week? Kemi?
I think Kemi might be the only one.
I agree. I think Jessica could be so easily manipulated, man. Oh, Jessica would put up like Cliff and Ovi and call it a day, and it would be stupid.
Yeah. It would not be good.
Yeah. So
put up Cliff and Sam.
Jimmy Butler to the Heat.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. And Katie on the Nets. Yeah, the Nets are stupid good. Poor Knicks, man. Lost out on Zion. No Kyrie. No KD. Don't worry, man. They got Julius Randle.
Man. And Taj Gibson.
Whew. Oh! That's tough, man. Hey, man, how your Bulls looking for next year?
About 32 wins. 32 and 50.
Brianna says, when are you guys going to go on Big Brother? Next year. I'll be on there. You look for me. I got to remember in my audition tape. I'm going to do this giant heartwarming montage of my 70-pound weight loss, maybe more, on keto. They're going to put me in. I'm going to be an ambassador for all keto diet people out there. All right? I'm going to go on. I'm going to be like, I lost 80 pounds to get on this show. It's going to be my thing.
America's heel. America's villain.
Oh, if there was a Team America, I'd be voted in 100%. The house guest would hate me. No one would talk to me after the show, but America would love me. They'd be like, yes, you won the $1 million, but at what cost? And I'd be like, I won the $1 million and America loves me for being the I'd be like Derek. Derek's got his own TV show. That's what I need. I need a TV show centered around my middle school choir and basketball programs.
My God. Yes.
All right. Harris re-signed with the Sixers. Yeah. Giving Tobias Harris max money is not a good idea, in my opinion, but, it happened. BB for BB22. Exactly. Hashtag BB for BB. Let's get it started again. So, good episode. Feeds have been interesting. They're going to be a good thing to flip on. I think I'm going to play some NHL 19 here. I got to put a fan on, turn my AC on, man. It's hot. It is hot. It's like 80 in my apartment right now.
It's hot, boy.
Anyway, any other closing thoughts for you, Charlie?
Yeah, we got the 2 episodes this week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday will be fun. Hopefully we get HOH on the spot, or if we get endurance, we go live on we watch it with everyone here.
Right, we're gonna close it off with some ASMR here. Just want to make sure that you guys like and subscribe, and click that little bell so you know when we go live. Until next time, guys. See ya.